Good day and welcome to today's Silly Point podcast. I'm joined today by Tushar Bahl in India and Declan Hooper, Wickets and Pickets boss in Brisbane, to review the second test in Chennai, which finished a day early. Tushar, congratulations to India. I think it's a reverse of what happened in the first test, complete reversal. I think it's England's biggest defeat in India. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, perfect test match for India. Didn't really put a foot wrong. Everything went the way they wanted to. They won the toss. It looked like they would get out for like 250 or so the first day, but they persevered and got a decent total on board. And then England just could not play well enough for the bat, and they just crumbled.
Put up too much fight at all on that last day. I mean, Moeen Ali was on track to score the fastest half century in Test cricket before getting dismissed. But other than that, it was a lot of poor time sweep shots, a lot of stumpings, just not very good batting from England. What were your thoughts on it, mate?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it again now, and I heard about. Looking at Dan Lawrence, I don't know what he was doing. The first ball that Ravi Ashwin's bowled on the day, and he charges down the pitch and gets stumped. Brilliant stumping by Rishabh Pant, by the way. But when you try to save a test match, I don't suppose that's what you want to see from your number three batsman. And they can blame the pitch as much as they want, but both sides had to bat on it. It wasn't an ideal surface by any stretch of the imagination, but I still, as I said yesterday, I still didn't think it was like 164 or 134 all out wicket. Like Tushar said there, England should have got India out for less than 250 in the first innings, and they allowed Rohit Sharma and Rahane to put on a big partnership, and Rohit get 161 on a wicket, which probably nobody should have got a big score on, to be honest. They say you can't win a test match on day one, but I think England definitely lost it on day one, by allowing them to get India to get 300.
Yeah, you mentioned that. How critical do you think Rohit Sharma's 161 on the first day was, Tushar?
Yeah, I think it was really crucial. It set the tone for India, and England couldn't even score 134, so 161. He just outscored them, the whole team. I think it was really crucial because India were 3 for 80 or something in the first session. If Rohit Sharma had gone out, then it would have been England probably would have got them out for 200. So I think it was really crucial. He counter-attacked, he played his shots. So and for him as well, because he was out of form. We were discussing last time whether he should be his spot would be in danger. So he was out of form, so he really needed that.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. Before the test, we were saying that Rahane seems slightly out of form. Virat Kohli, dare we say, was slightly out of form, and Rohit Sharma was out of form. And so how impressed were you that they kind of came to the party almost and got some runs?
Yeah, it was really important for them and for India as well. And I think when you're in India, you always get chances as a batsman to score runs, and to it's almost always in the favor of the batsman. And England I think they missed a trick by resting Anderson. They missed a few tricks by rotating as heavily as they did after the first test. Maybe Dom Bess may have been a better option, even though Moeen Ali did well. Maybe they need an extra spinner. So yeah, I think they missed a few tricks, and India just took advantage of it. And for Virat Kohli as well to find his form, he scored a duck in the first innings. So for him to find his form, it's really crucial, especially with the limited over series coming up as well. That's his forte. He loves playing limited overs cricket, so him finding form is crucial.
And you mentioned Stuart Broad there. It was a bit of a weird one, wasn't it? Him coming into the team, Phil. I mean, you had Ollie Stone come to the team, and to be honest, out of the two pacers, he seemed the more impressive to me.
No, I honestly couldn't understand why he was there after the first inning. I think he bowled 11 overs in the first innings. Might have even been less than that. And the second innings, Ben Folkes was standing up to him, so he wasn't obviously wasn't bowling at full pace. He was just bowling off cutters and leg cutters, which obviously showed how much the ball was turning when you got your quick bowler bowling like leg cutters, etc., etc. It's almost like a fast leg break, So it seems strange to have him in the side when they would have seen the pitch as much as the Indians, so they would have known what it was looking like. So somebody's misread that pitch badly, I think.
Phil talks about the pitch there, and obviously we've seen media from all over the world report it differently. What's the word been like in India?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think India and media cares that much now that India won. So if India had lost, it would have been a different story. But I don't think they care much. There was a rumor going on that a pitch curator was sacked after the first test match. So maybe they got someone. Yeah, so maybe they got someone in, and that they wanted, that they thought would provide a pitch that would suit them.
Was it his 4-year-old son?
Probably. Like, I don't know what the whole story is, but there are rumors going on that the pitch curator was sacked, and now so maybe they wanted, like, they were complaining about the pitch and they wanted something different, and now they got it. So, but I mean, if you're in England shoes, 1-1 going into the third test match, it's the pink test match, so England will be quite pleased with it. I think 1-1 is still, series is still in the balance, and they could still come back, and if they win the pink ball test, they will have a great chance of beating India in India.
Yeah, definitely. And just touching on that selection, Tushar, it seemed like the selections, obviously Shabazz Nadeem out, Axel Patel in. Axel Patel gets a 5-wicket haul on debut, which is great to see. Kuldeep Yadav in, bowled well, took a couple of wickets after sitting on the bench for most of the Australian tour, and like he looks so impressive in white ball format. It's great to see him actually taking some wickets and bowling quite well in the red ball. Mohammad Siraj came in and did his part with the ball, and also backing up Ravi Ashwin there for his century. It seemed like they kind of got the selection spot on this time.
Yeah, they did. I mean, most of the wickets were taken by Ashwin and Akshay Patel, so they can just. But other than that, Kuldeep Yadav, I think, only bowled 12 overs over the 2 innings. And where England got it wrong, I think they should have played an extra spinner. They did not bowl Ben Stokes at all. He did not play well with the bat either. So maybe they would have been better off playing Dom Bess instead of Ben Stokes, and having that third spin option on a pitch that was really spinning. So I think that is where India got it right and England got it wrong. That third spinner, I think that made the difference. It gave Ashwin and Akshay Patel the option to Virat Kohli the option to rest Patel and Ashwin and give Kuldeep Yadav a chance, even though he did not bowl as much. And if you look at the Indian pacers, they only bowled like 5 overs each in both innings. So, yeah, that third spinner, I think that proved to be the difference in the end.
It was great to see them bowl so well. But on the flip side, England just see with, especially Ravi Ashwin in the first innings, it just didn't make good watching for England cricket, did it? It was just, they were all over the place.
Ben Stokes in that second innings, we're looking at this morning again, just showing, and he's shaking his head as he walked off the field because he'd had ones that was pitched and bounced, and Rishabh Pant took them up by his ears, and that. I don't know. I think maybe they read too much media about the fit pitch, and that got inside their head, because Ben Stokes wasn't Ben Stokes in this test match. He didn't play as he should do, as he normally does. He didn't attack. He tried to survive, which wasn't the way to play on that pitch. Rohit Sharma showed the way to play on it, and if Ben Stokes could have done exactly the same. I did actually make a point to one of my friends here that maybe Ben Stokes could have opened the England innings in the second innings, just to try and take the attack back to India. The trouble is now that England are 3 down before anybody gets set, and it just shows that if Joe Root doesn't get runs, then the rest of the England batting is just not up to Indian conditions. I don't think it's just like nobody seemed to be able to handle what India served up. It seems to me that they went out there unexpectedly seeing a turning wicket. I mean, yes, the two pitches have been, completely opposite from the first test to this one. The first one was a road, the second one was a turning pitch, but that's what's going to happen in India, and that's what's going to happen in any country. If the host nation loses the first test, they're going to try and produce a wicket which suits the host nation. It's what happens.
Just to add to that point, which you said about counter-attacking, maybe England would have been better off having Bairstow and Butler in there as well, because they are the two finest attacking players, and they could have made a difference maybe with the bat.
Johnny Bairstow was apparently available for this tech. He missed the
but one. Like if they had that option, I think that would have been better for this pitch.
Quite right, and you got to be able to adapt to all conditions, and that's the whole point of Test cricket. That things change. It's not the same pitch for 5 days; it changes. So, it's there. The pitch is going to do it. Just try and get on with it.
It was a good point about the two other wicket keepers, Bairstow and Butler. And you'd probably argue that they'd probably be England's top 5 batters at the moment. But I tell you who has put his stake down to be the number 1 wicketkeeper for England is Ben Stokes. I mean, he was probably one of the only shining lights out of this game for England. It was pretty phenomenal for most of the game, wasn't he?
He was. It's, to be fair, a lot of criticism for Rishabh Pant too, but he showed yesterday on a wicket some of those balls from Ravi Ashwin and Axar Patel bouncing above the stumps, above his head almost, and he's taken them. He produced a fantastic stumping to get rid of Dan Lawrence. But yeah, Ben Stokes has been outstanding in this Test match behind a wicket. And I said yesterday, and I still stand by this, I think he's, even just on that performance alone, is the best wicketkeeper going around at the moment. Technically, he's really good. I'm not sure whether there was any extras in the second innings, but no extras in the first innings actually by either keeper. It's like a masterclass of keeping to spinners from both keepers, really. Rishabh Pant was not quite as good as Ben Stokes, I don't think, but yeah, a bit of a shining light to come out of a couple of days of gloom for the English team.
From that upbeat note, we'll move on to Ravi Ashwin. Hey, has to be the man of the match. I think he was selected as man of the match. That 100 in the second innings, I was sitting here watching it. It was really exciting actually, with the 10th, the number 10 in, and him going for his century. Hit a big six just before the he got to the milestone. How good was he with bat and ball, Tushar?
Yeah, he was really good. I think he's a man in form. He's got his confidence back. I think the Australian tour has done it. Before the Australian tour started, he wasn't in contention to even play the first Test match. Ravindra Jadeja would have played instead of him, but he played. He starred, and everything that happened in Australia, he's got his confidence, and he's playing better cricket than ever. Now he looks like almost an all rounder, and he's just playing some really, really good cricket with both bat and ball.
I mean, and I forgot to mention a home test, or at least he's played a lot of cricket in Chennai in the last couple of years, and it was great to see crowds back in India as well. On a completely side note, but you could see how much it meant to him when he got the century, and also the 5-wicket haul in the first innings as well.
Yeah, definitely. He played a lot of cricket for the Chennai Super Kings as well, so he will definitely have been pleased about that. If you look at his playing career, he's played a lot of cricket both in Chennai, and he also is from the south. So it's a special feeling. It must be for him to get that 100 and get that 5-wicket haul and to lead India to victory.
Yeah, and just a word on the crowds being back too. I'm not sure how many people were actually in the stadium, but they generated great atmosphere, or at least watching down the TV, they did. The roar when he did get his century was almost deafening.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how passionate crowds in India are. So yeah, I mean, they haven't been able to watch cricket live in stadiums for more than a year now, I think. So they'll be they were really pumped. They were really happy to see India playing well. And yeah, Ashwin, especially scoring big runs, would have certainly helped them. And even Virat Kohli was doing some of those Chennai Super Kings anthem and all that. So they were really pumped and excited.
And just having a bit of a look to the next test, Phil. Obviously a day-night test, which I think will possibly suit England more. How do England bounce back from this?
They have to bowl better. They have to bat better.
There we go. We'll leave it there, mate.
Well, we can't.
Feel better.
I know it's like stating the bleeding obvious, but I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, it's like, first of all, I think they need to stop this rotation policy quite quickly, and although they will need to rotate to get Jimmy Anderson back in the side, because obviously with the pink ball in his hand, he'll be a real danger to India. So I can imagine. I don't know. I mean, if Jofra Archer's back from his injury, he might get a shout. It's difficult to see what they're going to do, because who knows? I mean, we didn't predict that Jimmy Anderson was going to be left out of this side, so I don't know. It's going to be very difficult to predict what's going to happen next. I think Johnny Bairstow's back in a shout with playing. Zach Crawley's back from injury. Moeen Ali's flown home to get out of the bubble, which I just don't get that at all. I just honestly don't get that. He just come back and almost got the fastest 50 in Test cricket. He's got 8 wickets in the game, and he goes home. It just makes no sense to me.
It's always never as bad as it seems. It's always never as good as it seems, isn't it? Especially in Test cricket. So I think while this has probably put a lot of egg on England's face, we mentioned it earlier, 1-1 going to the third test. It's not the end of the world, and things can change quickly, especially when you give Jimmy Anderson a pink ball. I think that's a major factor. I think the team do need to bat better, and I dare say there probably will be changes to the top 6.
Well, there's a lot of ifs and buts. If Rohit Sharma got out early, if Rahane got out early, then you're looking at 200 rather than 300. And the same with the second innings. If they got Kohli and Ashwin, when they dropped Ashwin 3 times during that innings, or they missed him 3 times during that innings, so they can't say they didn't have their chances. Ben Folkes missed a stump. Ben Folkes missed a stumping. He was dropped on 28, 50, and 70 odd. So I mean, dropped on 28, you're looking at by that stage, it was already gone too far anyway. But, if taking the chances against Rohit, if Rohit had been given out when the LBW as well, which, when he was playing the shot, when he wasn't playing the shot, that's a difference as well. So there's lots of things that could have gone right for England, which didn't go right.
And for India, Tushar, full steam ahead, is it? Or can you envision any changes for the next test?
Well, I'd expect Bumrah will come back at least. And he maybe they'll rest one of the spinners. I don't think they'll rest Ashwin. He's in great form. They don't need to rest him. Yeah, one big positive for England is the last time India played a big ball test, they weren't bowled out for 36. So England could maybe look at that and take it as motivation to see, if Australia can do it on a pitch that wasn't doing anything, we can do it as well. India might have that in their minds as well. They had Kohli there as well on that occasion, and still they got out for 36. So that'll be something that'll play on India's mind as well. But yeah, for India right now, it's just that everything is going according to plan. They would rather be 1-0 or 2-0 up at this point, but even at 1-1, their chances of qualifying for the World Test Championship finals are really good.
We don't want 2-1 to England, Tushar, because that means Australia goes to the World Championship final, and we can't have that.
That would be hilarious if that happened. But
I'm praying for an Indian victory.
Well, England need to win, I think, both the Test matches now to qualify.
Yeah. If we win 2-1, though, that means Australia go through, and we can't. Just that to me, that
even with the drawn series, I think Australia goes through.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me, but there we are. Tushar, I was going to ask you, talk that Virat Kohli might get banned after his outburst against the umpires. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, there's not been any update on it, so I think ICC will make a decision on it. But some of his behavior in that Test match wasn't that great, even though the decisions were going India's way. He should have been a bit more relaxed. But yeah, that's just Virat Kohli. That you'll get that aggression with him. I don't think some of the words he said were right. The way he talked to the umpires wasn't respectful.
Just a quick point on that before we go then. The DRS, we talked about it yesterday. I mean, some of the decisions were very, very questionable on both sides. And I suppose we said this, that, I mean, second to you want a consistent DRS, at least it's consistently bad for both teams. Was anything made in the Indian media about that?
Yeah, like they were talking about it a bit, but you have to look at the umpires who are there in this series. I don't think they have that much Test match experience, especially not with DRS. Yeah. So when you have neutral umpires, you know that the umpires are elite level umpires, and they at least know how the situation works, and they have experience on how to use it. But with the lack of experience, I think that's something that has affected the third umpire and the on-field umpires as well. With experience, maybe they'll learn, maybe they'll get better, but it's still poor. As an umpire, you should at least get these type of decisions correct, even if you're not experienced. But I think that might be the reason.
There was one yesterday which made me laugh, because there was umpires calling LBW on the line exactly the same with Joe Root the day before, and it went in India's favour this time, and so because the umpire had given it out initially. And there was no complaints from Virat Kohli after that one, let me tell you. So, yeah, I think he needs to pull his head in a little bit, I think, because, don't forget how many people are watching him around the world, not just in India. He's like a role model to millions and millions of Indians and people around the world, and he can't be berating umpires like that. It's not their fault. They're only going on what the technology has shown.
Yeah, I think Virat Kohli needs to rein it in a little bit. I've thought that for many years now, but obviously he's someone, if he's in your side, you'll love him. If he's in the opposition dugout, as fans, you'll hate him. So it's a bit understandable the way he gets a bit of hate on social media. But again, with Indian fans, they won't hate him as long as he keeps performing with the bat.
I mean, I love his passion. I do love his passion, but it's like I said yesterday, these poor umpires, how many people would actually stand in their position? We're all umpires. We all shout at them. We say, how can he do that? But how many would actually have the balls to stand up there and do that? Like you say, that those two Indian umpires have probably hardly ever been in the middle in a huge game. Might have done the IPL, but not a Test match like that.
On that note, Phil, all to play for, 1-1. This round goes to India, so we'll see what England come back with next week. Thanks for your time again, Tush. We'll chat to you again soon. As always, Phil, we'll be there for the next test. Make sure you like and subscribe.